Welcome to Michigan in Focus, powered by thecentersquare.com. This episode features a piece by the Center Square's Therese Boudreau, headlined, quote, "Michigan minimum wage will top $12 an hour in February after court ruling," end quote. Here's the story. Michigan's Supreme Court ruled 4-3 on Wednesday that the state's Republican-led legislature in 2018 acted unconstitutionally when it changed the language of a petition that would raise the state's minimum wage immediately before it became law. The minimum wage in Michigan is currently $10.33 per hour for non-tipped workers and $3.93 per hour for tipped workers. Following the court's decision, the minimum wage will rise to at least $12 an hour starting February 21st. Tipped workers will receive the same minimum wage as non-tipped by 2029. President of One Fair Wage Saru Jayaraman said in a release, quote, "This is a great day for the more than 494,000 workers in Michigan who are getting a raise. We have finally prevailed over the corporate interests who tried everything they could to prevent all workers, including restaurant workers, from being paid a full, fair wage with tips on top. Today's court decision not only ensures that all workers in Michigan receive a raise, it also makes Michigan the 8th state to end the subminimum wage for tipped workers," end quote. The battle to hike Michigan's minimum wage has raged for years. The legislature had received initiative petitions in 2018 that proposed raising Michigan's minimum wage to $15 per hour by 2027, providing paid sick leave to employees, and allowing for compensatory time in lieu of overtime. But the Republican-led legislature at the time adopted and immediately weakened separate minimum wage and paid sick leave proposals, using the controversial adopt and amend tactic. In response, One Fair Wage, Mothering Justice, and other organizations filed a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the tactic. The Michigan Supreme Court has sided with the plaintiffs, allowing the wage raise to take effect. The court ruled, quote, "The legislature was not free to adopt and amend an initiative proposal in the same legislative session just because the Constitution does not expressly prohibit adopt and amend. By reserving the initiative power to the people, the Constitution limits the legislature's role with respect to initiatives to the powers expressly conferred upon it. If a legislature adopts an initiative into law, it may amend the law during subsequent legislative sessions," end quote. Many business leaders and lawmakers oppose the court's decision, arguing raising the minimum wage and eliminating tipped wages will harm businesses and workers. The National Federation of Independent Business Michigan, an association of small business owners, released a statement lamenting the ruling. Michigan State National Federation of Independent Business Director Amanda Fisher said, quote, "To say we are disappointed in this ruling is an understatement. After a unanimous ruling in our favor at the appellate court, it is hard not to see this ruling as politically motivated. The implications of this ruling are going to have wide-ranging negative effects on Michigan and will be a nightmare for all employers in Michigan," end quote. State Representative Cam Cavett, a Republican from Sheboygan, called the ruling, quote, "wrong, plain and simple," end quote. Cavett said, quote, "Judicial activists on the court disagreed with the common-sense solutions the people's representatives developed, so they took it upon themselves to jam through a radical liberal agenda anyway. This decision will close family restaurants that have been around for generations. The food service first jobs we all relied on in high school will disappear. People will suffer because a few stuffy judges decided they wanted to play politician for a day," end quote. One Fair Wage hopes the ruling will influence other wage-related proposals nationwide. Jayaraman said, quote, "Michigan's victory is not just a win for their workers, but a source of hope for the entire Midwest. Illinois has the opportunity to follow suit and end wage practices that are relics of the past. It's time we ensure that our workers are not only surviving, but thriving," end quote. This podcast was made with the assistance of AI technology. Please subscribe and thanks for listening.